throughout these maps. And let me see here. So for map 1, he goes in there, he drops 38 and 25, right? You know, that probably equaled about 50 limbs or something. Around, so maybe 40 something. Maybe even higher, I don't know. Right? But 38 actual players with 25 deaths with 228 on time. I don't know what else you could really do. Especially when you're playing against a player like NJ, who himself dropped 34 and 25. And when you're playing with Pancakes, your numbers are obviously not going to look as good. Because he's capable of actually killing other people. And Angus, I'm not saying he's not. But he, sometimes, he just, I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does. And it can be frustrating to with him. And I don't wanna expose anyone, but hey, I was getting messages mid-game, and some people weren't happy with their teammates. I'm not gonna name names now. I'm not gonna get into the details of who this person was, but some players are frustrating to play with. But I mean, as a high caliber player, you. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad. See, just talking of Angus makes an individual become a shitter. I'm joking. See, that's not true. Anyways. Bro, this Nuketown lobby is pissing me off. But yeah, so he drops a 1.47, strong performance, goes into a search and destroy. And I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed the way they were playing it. I wasn't impressed with the routes he was running. I wasn't impressed with his gun skill. The search and destroy was not easy. Like, simply put, I wasn't impressed at all. They lose Destiny. You know, not a surprise. Then it becomes a 1v1 between Angus and MJ. Like, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, NJ's gonna win that. And the reason I'm saying half is because if NJ doesn't win that, he probably kills himself with a nade. And yeah, like there's no way for Ishan's team to win that if he's getting blooded. And the reason he loses too is in that round is stupid. Like, it's a 5-4 round, it's a must win. You're taking dumb chows, and just in the back of their spawn, you're pushing the same little area, bro. You gotta pick. It's a 2v1. You have Pancakes down. The reason A site is so hard to control is because it's hard to get green control. But you have green control. Work that A bomb site, bro. Work that A bomb site. If you want to go back in there and check, you could check. But bro, you're committing for no reason. You guys aren't even getting bombed out. You guys don't even play like a team. I don't know. I thought it was absolutely a disaster from Team Ishan. Bro, Kim K is fucking machine. No, that wasn't even Kim. But yeah, like they wanna win these. Like they won the series, but man like me is taking advantage. I cannot lie. You're making those type of mistakes against me, bro. It's a 2v5. What is this? Yeah, I mean, Pancakes. I mean, fans were calling him the Ishan killer, right? Like when I think, like in one of the games, Pancakes killed Ishan more times than Pancakes killed him. Maybe that's not true, but it seemed like that. I'm not gonna lie, and I think, I don't know. like Nolan was struggling to kill Ishan some of those times. He really was. He wasn't the caliber of player we know him to be, even though he did drop a 1.11 throughout the series. We expect more from him. We really do. And Angus, I mean, he's a consistent 15 and 28 throughout both the hard points. I mean, at least he's consistent. You know what you're gonna get from him. Pancakes, you don't know if he's gonna start off the game 24 and 15, then end the game 26 and 30. Right? Like, I mean, it's hard to play with a player like that because when one guy's getting all the kills, you kind of, I mean, you're not really gonna get the kills. You kind of lay back. You start doing other stuff in the game. And yeah, it becomes, I don't know, it froze there. Kind of becomes harder to play, but I mean, Nolan did step it up in that first hard point. But it was just too little, too late. You're gonna start playing good. You gotta start playing good off the rip. You know, got bit the energy from the beginning. They win the S&D, horrible S&D. It was hard to watch. Hard point. They threw NGA with 28 seconds of time. No idea why it's allergic time. This and 2v2 especially. There's no reason for you not to have a minute on time at least. Ishan drops a minute and 5 on time. Goes 47 and 20. Nearly drops 50 kills. Right? NJ with the Angus with the consistent 15 and 28, but with 318 on time. And Mr. Pancakes 26 and 33, bro. What happened to you? You were absolutely frying. NJ not himself 22 and 29. That's just not acceptable. You're not even playing time. Like you're running around clueless on the map. You know? And then we didn't get the last part of the S&D, but we did witness. I don't think I have the clip. I accidentally deleted it, but it was a legendary 1v1 between Mr. Pancakes and Mr. Angus. The battle of the bums is what I called it in the moment. But obviously that's not true because Mr. Pancakes is a high caliber player. Not to say Angus isn't, but to say he isn't. You know? But what the hell is Dark Force? Let's try this shit. But yeah. I mean, oh, that was a good series. I think if it was me and Trousers or me and Pancakes or me and whoever, I think against both those teams, like the way they were playing, not impressive. Bro, what's with kids with war machines, bro, in this stupid map? Kim Kid, I think it's the same like 5 kids I was just playing against. Like, at least put me on their team, bro. It's not controversy. I know, dude. I'm looking like Angus. Yeah, Angus was like 0 kills. I thought he was gonna finish with 0 kills on that hard point. If Angus can give you 1 kill every 2 rounds, like in an S&D, you are set. Right? Like 1 kill every 2 rounds, like then you have a chance of winning. You're not set, but you have a chance of winning. 1 kill a round, then you're really winning. If he's popping 2 pieces, there's no reason for you to lose that. But I mean, ideally, I feel like for Angus, he needs to drop at least a 0.65 or a 0.7. Like that's minimum. He needs to do a 0.55. You still won, but you don't need to backpack that hard, and I don't think NJ is himself. If NJ is playing like his usual self, I don't see how you guys. The hell is the game bugging up? I don't see how you guys win that series, to be honest. And with Pancakes, if Pancakes gives you a 0.8, you're happy. He gave you a 0.77, he gives you a 0.8, you're happy. 0.77, I think the only reason it dropped is because his performance near the end of the game is really really took a downhill trend. They got spawn trapped. It wasn't looking good for them. Vintage Ishan, you know, Ishan started frying their shit. It wasn't a good look. But yeah. Bro, how do I not hit that? Yeah. What else? Now, I did conduct some interviews yesterday. We would like to go through some of them. And see, I interviewed both the top leading players of both the teams, and we'll see what they have to say in a minute here. Once we can have time, go through it. Bro, this is ridiculous. Should be in halftime. Second. All right, we are in halftime now. We'll start with the interview with NJ. You know, he was asked, you know, how do you feel about yours and your team's performance against Ishan Nice? He says, I think we had times when we were frying, which is true. I think I agree with that. They had times where they were absolutely destroying them, you know. But I feel like it happened with in both the hard points. They were frying too early in the game. Not even too early. They started off frying, couldn't keep it up, and then they started frying when it's too late. The other team's at 230, and you're trying to come back with when you have 100, right? Like it was a tremendous effort. But why not start like that from the beginning, you know? And then, you know, they said they had technical difficulties in the search and destroy. They did lose a lot of their momentum. They're up 5-3, they lose that S&D. I think they don't lose, they don't get kicked, honestly, I believe that. And we go into another hard point, but who knows? Who knows what happens in that hard point, you know? Maybe that was their game to win and they win the series, but hey, no excuses. You had 3 rounds to win the S&D. And Ishan's team wasn't playing particularly well, in my opinion. You guys should have easily won that. You guys made no adjustments. It's just it's frustrating watching the search and destroys. And then ask him, how do you feel like your individual performance was? You did put up a 1.11 or 1.1. You know, I think that's pretty solid. I think he says as an individual you could always do something better. He's given, you know, the right answers on paper. And he's like, I could have dropped a 3.3 and still wouldn't be satisfied. Now that's kind of crazy. We all know that's a lie. We all know how much NJ loves his skills. He could drop a 3.3 and lose every game for the rest of his life and still be. And then I asked him, you know, what you could have done to stop Ishan from dropping a whopping 1.47, because that's absurd. He's like, if I play like normally, the kid wouldn't have a chance. Now that's insane. The kid wouldn't have a chance. When I think right now in the power rankings, I think fans are ranking Ishan a lot higher. You know, we have a top 3 in this league, and I don't think he's in the top 3. Or we have a top 3 in this league. We have a top 3, but a lot of players were saying Pancakes was the better player in that series just because how much he was doing better for the team. I don't know. Now, obviously, I disagree with that. I think NJ was still slightly the better player, but bro, there was a lot of times where Pancakes was absolutely carrying against Nolan Smith or John Smith. And that's not saying Nolan John Smith isn't that player. I mean, I think he just wasn't playing like that player, you know. And the only question I didn't get to ask Ishan was, one question I wish I got to ask him was, how does it feel to be that guy? Because he was that guy. Dropping nearly 50 kills. He was dancing on it, and throughout the first half of the game, he had like 17 kills, I think. And then he drops nearly 50 on the second half. He absolutely did a 180. You know, Oh, he was picking up the slack pretty hard. And let's go into his interview. Let's see. Oh no, we're not done with his interview. And then I asked him, you know, if there's some, which players are you looking to team with in this game, and which players are you looking to get up against? He says, well, I have to say it would be an honor to play with my old trio crew and run again, as you like chemistry and you like to see how their amazing chemistry and gun skill would transfer from MW to Cold War. Now I think those teams, I like to play those teams, you know, as I'm speaking from Flawless himself. He told me he'll play those teams. He'll play with whatever team. It doesn't matter to him. You give him whatever players. And then ask him which players he'd like to go up against, and he says that isn't a very tough question at all. And that Ishan, Nick, and Angus are on the top of the list. And if they're up for the challenge, they need to make it happen. Wow, he's straight up calling them out. I don't know if this is part of his tactics to play with Flawless and Pancakes again, or he genuinely has it out for those guys. Was there a nuke in the map? Bro, who's dropping nukes? Bro, I'm not letting these kids have their satisfaction, alright? Like, come on. And then I'm like, yeah, you guys would certainly be a force to be reckoned with. However, how do you feel about fans saying, calling your teammate the EB killer, and fans saying you just simply cannot kill Yushan? He says, my fans will simply not say that. And he's like, on a he says, I'd like to meet these fans face to face, eye to eye. And he says, no, but on a serious note, I think today was EB's day. And that everyone has their ups and downs, and today he definitely had more downs than he had ups. But at the end of the day, he says his ups are gonna beat his ups. Oh no, his ups are gonna beat his downs. Never mind. And then he says, I would like to say sorry in advance to my dear friend Isan, my dear friend EB, and to the poor friends who think they got everything sorted out. Damn. Then I asked him if he's proud of his team. He says, I think Ryan put up a very good fight. I think he proved today that the EB killer that they say is not. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, I will prove as we move with this series. He says he will only improve. I think is what he meant to say. And then last question. I'm like, last question. What are your thoughts on Ishan looking past you and saying his true challenge is Flawless and maybe disregarding your skill? He says, wow, this is getting quite personal, but I like it. I think looking past me is the biggest mistake he can make for himself. And when it comes down and I decide to be the player I truly am, I will be the one disregarding his skill. Wow. I'm telling you, no one will be able to compete. No one, is what he says. With caps. Well, I can confirm that Flawless agrees, is what I say, and thinks you are only a shell of what you showed today. Which, even me as Mr. Reporter, I do agree with that statement. I think he wasn't NG. And from what I recall, I don't remember NG really being that guy in Cold War. You know, but I feel like Robin's experience in MW, especially in MW was his game where he really blossomed. To be honest, that was his game. You know, Vanguard is pretty good, Cold War is pretty good, but MW was the game to blossom, and I thought he could carry out some of that magic to this game, and I feel like he can. You know, I feel like he has the potential to, but I just don't know if he's just gonna get in his own head or whatever, and we're not gonna get to witness it. And then we go into Ishan's interview. He said, I'm like, today you dropped a whopping 1.47. How do you feel about your overall team performance and your performance as an individual? And I think he misunderstood my question because he says not good enough, got outplayed many times by the opponent, Flawless. I said no, we are talking about your series against Ishan, not Ishan, Mr. Nolan and Mr. Pancakes. He said shit was pretty good, Angus is Angus, but we outperformed them. Although Ryan was popping off, we still pulled through. He's popping off for 70, 60% of the game, and then 70 maybe, and then the last 30% of the game he would disappear. Last 10% from each map. That's where Nolan has to be Nolan. He has to just pick up the slack there. He's like, but you know, when we getting back into things, we went out and we played our heart out. That's what he says. My bad, I made a mistake. He was answering the prior question. How do you feel about fans calling Pancakes the Ishan killer and fans saying NJ simply cannot gun you down? He said he can be the Ishan now says he can be the Ishan killer, but he ain't the Ishan stopper because we still win. What a response. What a response there. And then he says NJ tried his best, but I'm optimistic about the kid. Optimistic about the kid's future. He still got more hours to put it down. That's interesting because, you know, Ishan and Nolan, they pretty much started their competitive journey. Maybe not similar time. Ishan did start it a bit earlier, but I think they started similar time with this game Cold War, playing GBs together. And it's funny because S&D was their bread and butter, and that's the one thing they simply cannot win. S&D, or not win, but they both suck at. And you know what? Ishan gets a lot of like hate on S&D, but the way Nolan was playing those S&D was hella predictable too. And I think Ishan was making the right reads yesterday. 2 times I was very impressed on Moscow. One was where he knew Nolan was in the window in one of the rounds. I had no idea how he made that read. He loses the gunfight though, Nolan wins the gunfight. And then one was a pretty obvious read, Nolan going on the pinch. Nolan goes on the pinch every single round. He basically flips where the sides are. Like, you're not giving yourself an advantage when the enemy team is gonna know you're gonna go on pinch. You know? Sometimes you gotta stand your ground and try to hold down the bomb site by engaging in those gunfights. Which I feel like Nolan doesn't like doing right off the rip. And then I feel like, do you feel like your opponents have anything else in the bag, or is this all they have to show? And then Ishan replies, I think they showed all their tricks, and next time we should dominate them and prepare for a true opponent, flawless. Wow, what a statement. Also, how do you feel about certain fans saying you are a shitter on SMD? And he, with a surprising response, says, I think that is true to an extent, especially in this game. But in MW, I should play a bit slower, but fuck yeah, I still win. That is true. Who are you looking to team with this season, and who are you looking up against? He says maybe flawless and flawless. He's been shitting on him. Interesting. How that's an interesting response. You know, it seems like he really has the out for flawless. You know, he wants to team with him and go up against him. I don't know. I think flawless also is a player that proved he's been pretty good at the game. Now there's one player we haven't talked about in particular, we haven't seen a lot of, but that's Nick Trauzy. I feel like King Nick hasn't been King Nick. You know, from MW, he really bursted out into the scene as one of the top players in the league, and I feel like we haven't been seeing that version of him. And we've seen Mr. Pancakes really become that upper echelon player. You know, and I feel like Nick has the potential to be that upper echelon player, but you know, obviously he's playing on mouse and keyboard. He's playing a different game than we are, and he doesn't play controller, so can't expect much from him there. But that I feel like is a point that I feel like has been going under the radar a little bit. And then I ask Ishan, how do you feel like you're proud of your team? Ask both players the same question, and Ishan says, well, thank you, sir, and yes, I'm always proud of my team, regardless of if we win or lose. And the reason he said thank you is because it says, interesting, seems like you really have AO for flawless. Well, I can confirm he has tremendous respect for your talent and your ability to absolutely carry a team, which is true. I think out of a lot of players, I think Ishan is like, okay, let me say this. Think out of every player, you know, in terms of Call of Duty, I think Ishan is the most talented. Like for a fact, like the kid's talent, I think beats anybody else's talent. But at the same time, I feel like Nolan's NJS's Gunny beats. I don't know. Like they both have their own strengths, but in terms of raw talent, I feel like Ishan is the most raw, talented player in the league. And but I feel like Nolan himself is just, I don't know. Like they're both so good, both very good, both very good players. It's gonna be interesting to see how these games go on in the future. You know, and yeah, it's disappointing to see no one joining me. I'm alone again, talking to myself for I don't know how long. But I'm gonna just go into a map and see if there's anything I want to remember to talk about. But you know, the Nolan and Ishan are both teammates I've teamed up with in the past, and both up there in my favorite teammates of all time. And I don't know, like Ishan's probably my most favorite just because we've teamed for the longest time. We started this game together with the GBs. We used to run with my cousin, but I mean, me and Nolan ran the 2v2 S&Ds in Vanguard. He holds a very special place in my heart too. So I think both those guys, very, very, very talented players. Angus needs to, I feel like, step it up. I think he understands that a .55 is not acceptable. And no matter who you are, a .55 is crazy. Yeah, although I did see him lag a bit. He was lagging a bit in those series. But when he turns up, you know, we saw it in the S&Ds. When he starts playing better, it gives him his team a real chance to win. It takes a lot of pressure off. And there's something else I was gonna say. Now I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, the one play where Ishan goes to defuse the bomb, hops on a ninja. Look, like we're the cog guys. We have 120 FP. We saw him slide past Pancakes. But I have no idea why Pancakes would check the bomb right after planting it. That makes no sense to me. For some reason, checks the bomb. And they lose the round. But I thought that was a very tippable play from Ishan. You know, very tippable. The OG just, you know, OG play, just hop it. Right there, if you know, you know. I said that during the stream as well. Look at this guy. Freaking cracked. Cracked body. Cracked body. Cracker. I don't know what I'm saying. But overall, I think looking forward to versing both Ishan and Nolan again. If they're on my team, they're on my team. If not, I'd love to, not me, but Flawless. Speaking on behalf of Flawless here. You absolutely get on about it. But so far, I think if I had to say my favorite player in the league, yeah, Pancakes. I've teamed up with that guy a couple times now, and it's been a pleasure playing with him. Easily my favorite player. These kids are probably getting so cheese. But whatever. We fist them to death. Yeah, guys, it's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. You guys, I don't know what else to say. But, see you guys next time. And stay tuned for more 2v2s and hopefully 3v3s on the way. This game is very bugged. It does not allow 6 players in lobby for some reason. Be it. Alright guys, take it easy and take care.